Welcome, 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 everyone. I cannot tell you how excited I am to spend some time with these fabulous ladies that we're going to introduce in just a second. And then I will unveil our faces. Uh, right now, we're secret to you. Ta-da! Here we are. Hey, everyone. You guys, thanks for joining us. We are all on our own transformation journey. And some of you, many of you have commented about, oh my gosh, look at what they're doing, or made comments, or have inquired, or maybe felt like that's great for them, but this definitely isn't for me. And so we wanted to just have a moment to say, like, let me just tell you how we get down. Let me tell you how to do this, and that this is for you. So I've got questions that we're going to share, and you're going to hear from myself. You're going to hear from Erica, Bethany, and we have one more guest that'll be joining us shortly. So we're going to start here. What's your story? What is your story? Erica, I'm going to let you go first, and I want you just to tell everyone your story and your story of health. What is that? What is your story?
Yeah. So, hey everyone. My story actually, I think I've told this a few times, but some of you might not have heard this. I actually began, looking and figuring out like what are solutions for my body when I turned up with a cancer diagnosis in 2019. I'll be honest, prior to that, it had literally not really been a thought other than, hey, I need to eat healthier. And, we all talk about that. And I've had periods of my life where I've eaten healthier and made better choices according to what I knew. But there were a lot of things that were missing in what I understood of health until that 2019 diagnosis. Long story, really short. I had an extensive DNA test to find out whether or not I had a propensity for cancer in my DNA. Turns out the answer was no. And so then that question is, how does this happen? And so that kind of led me into, when it came back, my doctor said this was environmental. She felt like it was in the foods and then the water. And, it were things that I could possibly do something about, at least on my part, that I hadn't previously known. And so that kind of started me really thinking about what is health, like what does that actually look like? Because like I've heard from several people, there are so many things out there. You're like, well, do this, eat this way, eat that way, take this, do this, and there's just so much information coming out. Like what do we do? And I really started to pray about it. I was looking for those solutions, and a really quick thing, God gave me a dream and was sharing. In the dream, it was natural things that He was kind of leading me to, and so enter the superfoods. And I had tried a whole bunch of different stuff. And it was more of, hey, let me just see if this is going to work for me. I'm one of those people that I want to get to the root of a thing. I don't want to just put a Band-Aid over it. And so I'm always looking for the root source, the root problem. And I want to know like how to navigate that. So the superfoods really fit right in. I've tried a different thing. If it doesn't work, I go on to the next thing. Okay. I'm like, okay, this doesn't work. What's the next thing? And so when the superfoods came across my plate, and I started hearing about regenerative health, it was really kind of a no-brainer for me. The dream, I'm always looking for the root, and I'm always ready to try something new if the other things aren't working. Like I know a lot of people are, well, this didn't work for me, and we just give up and we don't go any further. But it really, I just stepped right into it. It's like, okay, let's give it a shot. And so I did start small. I just kind of eased into things. But yeah, so that's really my health journey, my health story. And so much has changed in the past. It's almost been a year and a half And I've had so many things that have just shifted in my body, in my emotional health, in, cognitively, just so many different shifts.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Erica. I'm going to turn it over to Bethany. And Bethany, I want to hear your story.
Okay. So Erica's tiptoed in and I just jumped in with with both feet. So I had come from a diet culture of try whatever's out there. Basically, I've been through the gamut. I have, you name the things or the systems or the pills or whatever, I've probably tried them. And I was actually doing keto and fasting when I listened to Deidre say about these superfoods, and I'm like, I can have fruit. I, I can have things that I thought I should be able to have anyway. And so then I just started on these superfoods, and over the last year and a half have seen miraculous things happen to my body. Like, people will come up to me and say, "Oh, you've lost so much weight," and I'm like, "No, actually, I just let out all the air, the inflammation that had me blew up like a balloon." And yeah, I lost a few pounds, but I'm still a work in progress. And it's not that the weight is the biggest issue. The biggest issue is making sure my body is functioning the way it should optimally at this time, so that I don't get the C word or all the other things that are out there that disease in the body at all. And so, right. And that's where, right now I've started on a deeper dive because I found out that my body wasn't making B vitamins. So I had a deeper thing root that I needed to pull up. So I am now on that journey. I have my Purium stuff that I take every day, and I don't miss those products, regardless if I get off track and have to socialize and eat the wrong thing and I make the wrong choice. I always have that nutrition, and it makes it better for me. So
yeah. I love it. I love it. Thanks. And I'm going to go ahead and share my story. Since we're here, I was definitely, I would say I've kind of been on the, like, let's try everything and let's get somewhere, right? Originally, my vision was I just wanted to be like slim thick. Like, I just wanted to be fine. And when I looked at pictures of me like younger, I was like, it's funny because you look back and you're like, that time in my life, I thought I was really fat or really unhealthy. And then you're like, oh, what I would give to be that person today. And so it started with basically years of me trying to shed unnecessary weight and waste so that I could be that girl back in the photos, right? But I started to kind of get deeper and understand a little bit deeper that it's more than just like your outer shell, and it's more than just being slim thick or being visually fine. I wanted to be healthy and like alive in my body. I was stepping onto a journey for midwifery that I knew was going to be very demanding of me. And so I did not want to be become a licensed midwife and be in the most unhealthy shape possible. And I've seen that around, and I didn't want to be that. I saw it. I see it like all the time, aches and pains in your body, and you're not able to show up well, but you're telling your clientele, do this, do that, do that. And then you're doing something contrary to that. I did not want that to be my story. And so part of how this particular superfood journey and regenerative health came across my path was because I was hearing it. Regenerative health, glyphosate, like toxins, removing waste, et cetera, et cetera. All of those things I was hearing, but I didn't know much about it. And I was like, what does this mean? And let me figure this out. And so when, like Bethany, I just went in and like, okay, I guess this is what it's going to take. And I'll tell you this, they have Purium, which is our company, it stands for Pure and Premium. They have a package that does a cleanse and like rejuvenates and restores and builds. They have a package called the ULT, which stands for the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. And I was kind of like, that okay, that wasn't $5. And so I was like, let me get myself together. And it took me 3 months. And when I did it in 3 months, literally closed my eyes and stepped into it. And why did I step into it? Because I realized I deserved it. And most of my life, I didn't think that I deserved it. I was the person on the outside looking at everyone else's accomplishments, believing that I could not achieve those things myself. And so it wasn't until I stepped into this that really transformed me to say, yes, you're worth it. God has a plan for you, and we are going to shed excess waste and weight, and we are going to come alive in our bodies and dig into the root cause of like why this is. We're not putting band-aids on these things anymore. We're going to dig in and we're going to pull it up. We're going to pull them weeds up. You know, when you're like really out in the garden and you're doing like the deep work, you pull the weeds up. You don't just mow over it or like get over the top. You got to get in there and pull the weeds up from the root. You know what I'm talking about? That's what we're doing here. And that's the journey that we're all on. So I got another question for you. Okay, here we go. I got my little fancy banner thing. So I just want to share that. Why did you start? Why did you start this particular journey? And we'll just go back around the room like we did before. Erica, I'm going to have you start. Share with our... I muted myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't hear that question.
Share with our audience why you started this journey. Like, what made you choose this particular journey? And like, why did you start?
Yeah, well, gosh, that's a big question. I chose this because it was natural. Not even just natural. It was organic. It was whole food. It wasn't like it was something I could do too. I need something sustainable, because I'm one of those people that can fall off and stay off the wagon real easily. If it's not easy, if it's not quick, and if it's not sustainable for me to do. And like, you know, Bethany mentioned the keto diet. I tried that one time too. And I needed fruit. Like I wanted a carrot every once in a while, you know, and that was a lot of carbs. You couldn't have that. And there were just things that just did not line up with me. And then, you know, just honestly, as I look at the original blueprint in Genesis, you know, we ate of the fruit of the land, the fruit of the trees, and it just made more sense to me that if God created our bodies, then he created it to take in whole food sources. And so it just really started to make sense to me personally. And again, the ease. I mean, my favorite thing is just to blend up that shake, make my power shake, and then boom, I've got all the nutrients that my body needs in one day. And I did try vegetarianism at one time, but I failed at it because number one, I wasn't really eating the proper things. I was eating, you know, I was vegetarian. I just wasn't eating meat. I wasn't eating exactly healthy, but you know, I lacked energy. And so the super aminos were like, I didn't know that then. I didn't know. We hear all the time about protein. You got to have protein. You got to have protein. Are you getting enough protein? And so I really thought my body just needed more protein. And so then I shifted off of it. But what I've learned is it's the aminos that our body is after when people are, when we go in and eat the meat. That's what what we're after. Our body's actually after that. And so for me, the sustainability of it, and the fact that everything is absolutely, and that was one thing my doctor had said to me, I want you to go all organic. She really wanted me to go plant-based totally. I wasn't totally bought into that just yet when she said it. But she said, at least organic meat if you eat meat. And so the fact that it was organic and actually beyond organic was very, very attractive to me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Bethany, why did you start?
So I had been frustrated with being restricted, and everything I've ever tried is restricted in some way, or I got to count these fat, carbs, protein, got to track everything. I ain't got time for that. I just want to put food in my mouth. I ain't got time to worry about, oh, does this have enough fat for this meal? I don't have a chef. I got to do this myself. And I just don't have, that's just too time consuming. And so when she was talking about it and learning that it was organic, not just organic, it's beyond organic. So it's super organic and it's micronutrient focused. So you just, it just made sense that if I've tried all these other things that were synthetic or had to do all this, jump through all these hoops and everything, then why not just give this a try? And so that's what I did. I just jumped in and gave the superfoods a try. And within 3 days, my first 3 days, I felt more alive in my body than I'd ever felt in my life. And I knew then I had to figure out a way to keep this in my life. And so
That is powerful.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, that's powerful because, why'd I start? Because I wanted to be better. I wanted to show up. And I was tired of being tired and tired of looking almost like I was tired of window shopping when it comes to my health, right? Looking at other people, that like if you get started in 3 months, like the changes that you were seeing, I was seeing in other people's lives, or 6 months or a year and all of that. I was like, well, why is it happening for them? And why is it not happening to me or for me? And so I started because I was ready for a change that was sustainable. And much like Erica mentioned, something that was sustainable and that could work or fit into my lifestyle. Like it wasn't just a like, oh, like I don't have hours to spend in the kitchen. As much as I would love to like be the person that goes out and gardens and like has their own garden and does all of these things, as much as I would love to be that person, I'm not. I honor that place. I value that. I want to link arms with people and organizations that are doing that. But like the truth is, like Bethany's mentioned earlier, ain't nobody got time for that. I don't. And so that's why I started to really just transform my life. And so we've got an awesome one of our additional friends here. I'm going to bring her on. Hey, Lori, and welcome.
Hello, thank you.
So we're going to just let you jump in real quick with why did you start? Why did you start the superfood journey? Like, what was the reason? What made you jump in?
Absolutely. So I was needing emotional health, and also I had an infection in my body. And I tried the antibiotics, I tried everything, and it wasn't working. And I was like, something's got to be different. So I reached out to Deetra and I was like, Deetra, what are you doing? Because I need some help. And I started the superfood journey. She got me on a live support call, and Carrie answered all of my questions. And I was like, what are you talking about? And it was so amazing. Hi, Deetra. And so then I, after that call, I started to learn more about it, and yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So that's why I started the journey, was because I had an infection in my body and I wanted to be present for my kids and not be suffering anymore.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Lori. So give me one thing. I was thinking about this the other day, and I probably should have like given you guys a heads up, but we just wild over here. So, name one thing that you're doing now that you thought you would never do, and you're able to do those things because you're alive in your body and you're nourished at the cellular level. Like, what are you doing now that you thought you would never do? And so I'm going to give us just a little bit of a minute to like think about it, and then I want us to answer. So we're going to go back to our same order. Okay. Yep. Erica, Bethany, Lori, and myself. So, okay, go ahead, Erica.
This is one I actually don't have to think about, because the other ones I was like, oh, I should have had these questions ahead so I could think about what to say. So I have two things actually. Number one is sleep through the night. Period. Put an exclamation and a period, an exclamation and a period. I did not sleep for years. I would wake up at least 3 to 5 times a night. And so my sleep patterns were awful for many, many years. And of course, I thought I was being woken up for other reasons. Come to find out, it was really that my body was not hitting that deep level of sleep because of the gut health. And so, I have to go there. I hear people all the time saying, well, God woke me up. Did he wake you up 4 times a night? Because I'm not real sure he woke you up 4 times a night. It might be that you have some gut issues. I mean, that was huge for me. I was totally shocked. I really did. I mean, he still wakes me up to pray. I'm not saying he doesn't, but it's not 5 times a night. Because for a while I thought, well, good Lord, do you want me to sleep? I mean, do you love me? And so sleep was huge for me. That I never thought I would sleep through the night ever. And so that was big. And then the second thing is hiking and really getting out. Like we started this year really hiking a lot. And I think we hiked, our longest is like 7.5 miles. Never thought I would hike 7.5 miles without dying. Literally just falling out and going, I'm done. I'm dead. Just bury me here. And I did it, but I did it with ease, y'all. I felt good the whole time. I had enough energy to do it. Even afterwards, my body, I thought would just be so sore. But it hasn't. That super xanthan, I'm telling you, is it's amazing how my muscles didn't ache and my body didn't ache after. And I used to have a lot of aches and pains in my knees and just in my body, joint pain. And that I thought I would just be wrecked when I was done from all the, going up some steep spots and I even climbed a rope, y'all. I climbed down a rope. And so I didn't hurt afterwards. So hiking and sleeping, those are mine.
Okay. Let's see. Something I didn't think I would do is sleep in my bed all night. I had a lot of drainage, sinus drainage all the time, 24/7. And I would start out in my bed, my nose would get stopped up, I'd get up, I'd go to the recliner, I'd finish my night in the recliner. And, that's how I slept. And then I would get up kind of like Erica 2 or 3 times a night to go to the bathroom. And little did I know that this was not necessarily that I had to use the bathroom. My body was fighting to repair itself. It was struggling. It was on the struggle bus. And so having taken all these superfoods and now doing even the deeper work, I'm getting more sleep. And it's not really the quantity, it's the quality. So I went from just being in that light sleep for maybe 4 hours a night and maybe some minutes in the other levels. I'm spreading it out through all the levels and getting maybe 2 hours in each one. And just that alone makes me feel better. I too also have walked like more than I've ever walked in my life. We're talking starting off the day at 3 miles. We're not just walking on flat surface. I'm walking a major hill here in town, and not just walking up it normal. I'm walking up it backwards. So that puts another level of intensity on that. And so I'm athletically building myself to a place where I've never been before. So that's my 2.
So my story is that I had endometriosis, and the Lord Jesus healed me of that. Praise the Lord. When Terry and I were dating. Um, and then when I came into learning about the superfoods, my periods were stalled. And they weren't like I'd go 12 days without them, and then it'd be very slow and it'd be hard to start. And then once they started, it was a little bit here, and then they lasted for like 7 to 9 days at least, and they were just not fun. And my whole family knew when it was my time of the month. Um, and it was not fun. Emotionally, it was just a roller coaster. And I just needed to be alone, to be honest. And now starting the superfoods, and the last time I had my period, my menstrual cycle, Terry was like, did you just, that's my husband, Terry. He was like, did you just have your period? And I was like, yeah, I did. And he was like, oh, really? Oh, I thought maybe you did, but I wasn't for sure. And like, he doesn't know anymore. And I love it. Like, and it's like 2 to 3 days, and I'm not this hot mess. And I'm a lot nicer to be around. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I've been able to clean out my lymphatic system and get my whole reproductive system working and just feeling so much better. I mean, I have 2 babies in heaven as well. And so the reproductive system and getting that all, working properly is huge. And I'm so grateful for that.
Okay, I don't know what is happening right now. There's some weird things going on my end. Okay. I'm like, okay. Um, Thank you, Lori. That's awesome. I'm gonna jump in with mine. And I just like wanted to scream, your girl is doing CrossFit for starters. I would have never in a million years thought that Nicole Cherie Fletcher, would be in the gym consistently working out the way that I am right now. So for starters, there's that. But in order to get to that place, you have to do a lot of other work to get there. I'm the type of person that I'm not trying to hurt myself to like kick it with you. You know what I'm saying? Like if it means I have to injure myself to like be a cool kid, well, we gonna find a new activity to be cool, right? And so I can show up like alive in my body in a million different ways. And it's because I am nourished at the cellular level. I like am building muscle. I'm shedding waste. I'm rejuvenating in my sleep. I am removing toxins and have removed so many parasites. And the biggest thing is starting in January of this year, I've transitioned to a plant-based diet, a plant-based lifestyle, which is something huge. And I would have never been able to do that without the foundation of this nourishment that has happened. And I also want to throw out there, this wasn't something that happened overnight. It literally took me 8 months of being on the superfood protocol before I felt enough nourishment or sustained enough to kind of step into this new level. And so there's layers of this process, right? So, and this is the beauty of regenerative health. It's almost like most diets and kind of kind of things are like, do this, get this result, do this, get this result, and that's kind of it. But like with regenerative health, we're really digging in and getting to the root cause, which takes time. It takes time. And so what I've learned in this process is that like, Nicole, you need to be patient with yourself. You can't look at the results or the experience of someone else and compare that and feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes it takes a minute to get to that deeper level of like nourishment and transformation. And like your body has to trust you enough to start releasing things, to release toxins, to release chemicals, pesticides, all of these things. Your body needs to trust you. And if you are consistent, your body will begin to trust you and start to let go and release these things. And so that is the biggest experience for me that I've learned. And then I'm going to say this other thing. My daughter, she's in college and she came for a visit this past weekend. And so we're sitting, she brought her friends over, they're all hanging out. And I come into the room and I sit on the floor, and I'm sitting on the floor and I'm talking to them, whatever. And then I get up to like leave. I used to get up and make a lot of noise when I got up, like, all this stuff, right? So my daughter was like, Mom. And I was like, what? She was like, you got up off the floor without making noise. And I was like, oh, I did. And I don't make noise anymore when I get up. Like, you guys don't understand. And it's like this old lady, like, oh, Lord Jesus, come get me off the floor. And now I was like, oh, I just got up. And my daughter was like, ding, 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 ding. That was such a big deal to her. And later that day, she was like, okay, I'm ready to start my superfood protocol. Like, what do I need to do? And I was just like, what? And it was all because she's able to see the consistency in my life and see the changes and see those things that we don't think about. But that we don't think to articulate. Sometimes we're looking for the big thing, right? We're all talking about micronutrition. And like, I like to describe it as like, you've got this cell, right? And like macronutrition can't get like into the cell. Micronutrition gets into the cell and helps rejuvenate it and like make it come alive and do its thing. So we're like trillions of cells, but we're focused on this macronutrition that can't even get to the cells. So now we're taking our cells and we're like, they're all downy dumpered. And what we need to do is give them life. And so, I've talked a lot. And so now I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to ask like specifically, how did you begin? What gave you the courage to start? Like, and when I say, how did you begin, I'm looking specifically for what protocol did you start with our regenerative health community? So Erica, what protocol did you start with? And what gave you the courage to say yes?
Like I said, I tiptoed in. I started with a shake. The Power Shake was for a month. And I think the second month I added in the cherry juice because I wanted to sleep, because I kept hearing, oh, you'll sleep. And I was like, yeah, I'm proving you wrong. I got proved wrong, just saying. So the Power Shake. And then the second month I added the cherry. And then the third month I did the Core 4. I was also waiting to get off of tamoxifen, and it takes 3 months for it to get out of your system. And so I needed it out so I would have a little less detox symptoms, hopefully. So by like, I think the 4th or 5th month, I jumped into my ULT. And what gave me the courage was just seeing the results. Like I said, I was very skeptical at the beginning. But as Bethany pointed out, just within a few days of being just on the Power Shake alone, I noticed energy. I noticed, becoming alive, my brain waking up and those sort of things. And so it really gave me the courage to keep going further. I've done several ULTs since then. And now I'm also going deeper on an herbal, an additional protocol. But, just knowing that it really is doing something in my body. Like we said, we've tried tons of different things that really didn't do much. I mean, at first, because your body is like, oh, something new, great. But the fact that it's not even just the first few months of that newness, I have continued to see movement and growth and an upward changes in my body and in my health. And so that's given me the courage to keep going.
Awesome. I love that. Bethany, you have a cool story of like just starting. What gave you the courage to start?
I think it was not really courage, but frustration. So I just wanted something that was simple, that was beneficial, that's something I could do every day and stick to. that was not going to be so restrictive and, you know, you got to jump through hoops. So that was my thing. And I started with the ULT
Mhm.
because, well, why not? You know, I've tried everything else. So,
Yeah.
but it had all the things. I was feeding my body with the power shake. I was getting my protein from the superfood, from the aminos. I was getting cleaning out my gut from all the glyphosate with the Biomedic, and I was taking the cherry juice to sleep. Now, I did learn that I can't take that at night. I have to put that in my shake in the morning because I guess it likes to make me stay up at night. So I had to alter mine. Everybody's different. So, and I even added some Biomedic, I'm not Biomedic, but Bio Relax in to kind of jumpstart my sleeping habit a little more. And I
Yeah.
also was on Be Energetic to help with my adrenals because those were in dire need of some help.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Lori, what did you start with?
So I'm so grateful. Deetra really helped me, and she really like went with my budget. She's like, Lori, what is your budget? And then we're gonna go from there. And so she did recommend the ULT, but at that time that wasn't in our budget. And so she was like, okay, so what is it? And so because I was dealing with an infection, I started with ViraSure to help to get rid of the infection. And then I started with a core 4 because that's what was in our budget. And I was like, I'm just going to do everything once a day. And then I also started with Be Energetic as well because that's really good for your adrenals. And I needed that support. So that's where I started. And honestly, within the first like 5 days of taking all that, um, I was just like, I need more. Like, Terry, how can we figure this out in our budget? Like, this is amazing nourishment and I'm feeling better. It's simplified my life. I used to take 120 grams of protein and I wasn't needing that protein anymore because I was getting it in the aminos. And I was like, this is so much more simple than figuring out and counting all my protein. And
Mhm.
yeah, and then the courage piece, honestly, I loved it because Deetra said to me, I go, Deetra, I have you saying one thing and I have someone else saying another. And I was like, how am I going to do this? And she was like, Lori, just listen to the Holy Spirit. What does the Holy Spirit tell you? And I just went with that peace. And the peace I felt was going with the superfoods and like taking this journey. And I'm so grateful that I did because I was on a lot of supplements too. And I've been able to get rid of all those supplements and just have the superfoods. And I didn't think I was going to be able to do that because I got so used to being on all those supplements. I was like, how am I going to do this? But it's been
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I love that. That's super exciting. I started with the ULT. I had the courage to start because, like, again, I kind of feel a little bit like Bethany, like, why not? But I'm also like kind of I'm trying to find a politically correct term to use this, but to say this, but I'm just an all in type of girl. Uh, so if I'm in it, I'm all in it. And if I'm not, I'm definitely not. And so for me, I really wanted to see the benefits of being all the way in and how that would change my life. And it changed my life, where I was able to show up alive in multiple different ways. And then I just kind of adjusted like what I was spending. I started to save money at the grocery store and recognize that like I couldn't even get, even if I was buying all organic, I couldn't get this quality of nutrition from the grocery store at all, like at all. And so I was like, well, why not? Why not? And so I did, and I loved it. And I did like 2 or 3 months of the ULT. And then I switched to the Core 4. And then I had Be Energetic. I mean, when I tell you, like, I got a little bit of everything. I got a little bit of everything because I had a little bit of everything going on. And I needed to address some of those things. And really, Deidre says $11 a day. And the truth is, I thought about that in comparison, like, we go to Starbucks, or we used to go to Starbucks, or people go to Starbucks, or they go to their local coffee shop, or, their fast food restaurant. I mean, whatever. You can't get nothing for less than $10. Like, even if you're going to McDonald's, you can't get nothing for less than that, right? And why not give yourself something, even if you're not like changing everything? Like, start somewhere, right? Start somewhere. Start to flood your body with the nutrients that it needs, and then it will no longer desire some of these other things. And so $11 a day, if you think about that and check your budget and kind of look at like, how often am I eating out, or going to lunch break with going to lunch with the friends, and, on work breaks and different things like that. The truth is we're spending that and more, like that and more. One of my favorite little restaurants around town is Zaza's, and you can't come out of Zaza's without spending $15 to $18, like, on one person. I don't know what they doing, but I mean, I pay it, but you know what I mean? But that's the truth. And so just encouraging you guys as you're thinking about, like, can I start this journey? Is this something for me? Like, you see around this room, we all have a different story, and we all came to the table for different reasons. And those reasons are being met, and we're starting to come alive even more, and peel those layers of the onion back and get to the root cause. And it takes time, and it's a process. So I want to encourage you guys to, like, don't worry about like tomorrow. Like, today is your day, and today is your opportunity to step into, like, I want to have a tomorrow. So what am I doing today so that I can show up and have a tomorrow? So, each one of us have a unique code that we share. So, the question is, how can someone start? And, like, why do you start? Like, so we each have a unique code. We're all partners with this company, and we're excited. We work together. We're on a larger team, and we want to help you. Our company has, and our team specifically, has 2 support calls every single week. And so we don't just like order some superfoods and like eat this stuff and you'll be fine. It's so different than what you would get over the counter. It's so different from other companies because we are dealing with soil health. We're dealing with the health and the quality of the soil. We are focusing on removing toxins and glyphosate from our bodies. We're focusing on coming alive. You cannot get this anywhere else. I'm just going to say it. You can't get it anywhere else. And if you're like, I mean, I know, Nicole, but like, I don't want to. That's okay. You don't have to. But when you're complaining about this condition, that condition, and this condition in your body, and you're looking to reverse it and start to like restore balance in your body and meet yourself at the cellular level, this is the way to do it. This is how we do it. Na, 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 na. Okay, had to do it. So does anybody want to share how someone can get started? And I'll just unmute yourself. Let's see if we're just going to be wild. Let's go.
I say all they have to do is reach out and ask and say they need help, and I will meet you where you're at. We'll talk. We'll have a discussion, talk about what you're dealing with, and break down what you need and where you can start with what you've got to start with.
Awesome. Perfect, Bethany. Anybody else want to share?
I mean, I would have just said the same thing. Let's just talk about it, see what your budget is, see what your needs are, what your goals are, what are your health concerns now, what are you dealing with now, and, just step into it. You don't have to jump into a full ULT. You can just, ease in like I did, and that's perfectly acceptable and good. And the other thing I would say is don't give up. Yeah. I find that a lot. People get in and they're like a month. We're like a microwave society. Oh, well, I'm not experiencing all these tremendous major things in 1 month. I would say give it some time. You didn't get this way in a month, 2 months, 3 months. It's not going to take you a month, 2 months, 3 months to get out of the whole thing. And so just sticking with it, and leaving the excuses at the door. That was just jump, just do it. Just, what do you have to lose? That's my thought on it when I started was, what do I have to lose? I have nothing to lose.
Perfect. I love it. Lori?
Yeah, I would also say how you can start is by hopping on one of our support calls and talking to one of our friends, Carrie, or any of the other specialists, and just asking them questions. Like, that's where I started. I asked questions. Teacher was like, "Hey, you want to hop on this call?" And I'm like, "Sure." Actually, it was in 45 minutes. And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And then I said, "This is what's going on. Like, we're not meant to be isolated, right? We're not meant to stay at home and be like, everything's okay. It's all good," when it really isn't. We're meant to be in a community. And I'm just so grateful for that. That's where you can start, is you can start by reaching out and saying, like Bethany said, and saying, "Hey, I need help." But then also you can talk to people who know what they're doing, and they've walked people through this transformation, and they can help you and understand what's going on in your body, and be able to help you get started on the journey.
Awesome. I love it. And Lori, you just mentioned, like, we have regenerative detoxification practitioners at your access. And so we're not talking about people that are like, I mean, this is cool, it worked for me. We're talking about people that like understand how the body functions and how to reverse certain conditions and dis-ease in the body. In our regenerative health community, we say things like, um, genetics. You're like, oh, my mom is like that, or my dad is like that. And we say genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. What you do with your life is actually how you activate or ignite certain dis-ease in your body. And we can reverse and change so many conditions that we felt like we were plagued with because of genetics or because of this, that, and the other. The truth is, we can reverse disease in our bodies. And our body was divinely designed to heal itself, given the right tools. If we give it the right tools and we give it nourishment at the cellular level, your body will come alive. Your cells will make more and they will come alive. And this is what we're about. Our website, our group website is Regenerate Your Health. And that's specific for our team. We're really helping to like get you into a place of regenerating your health. And do you have to have it all together? Nope. Do you have to be plant-based like me right now? Nope. Do you have to be, you know what I'm saying? Like all of the things that we've said I have to do first, like the answer is no. Just start. And here's the thing that I want to passionately plead with you guys about this. It's like, I want you guys to get off the sidelines. I remember being on the sidelines and looking at other people and saying, wow, look at how awesome they're doing, or look at how successful they are in this, that, or the other. And the truth is, I didn't get in the game. I sat on the sidelines looking at the success of someone else. What would happen if you stepped into the game and gave it your all? What would happen? Your life would be transformed. You would be better. You would show up more alive. There is no risk to showing up. There is no risk to stepping into the game, like in not this game, at least. This game will make you be more alive in your body. And so we're excited. And if you've been watching this or you have other questions, definitely message us on Facebook or Instagram or, all the little social things, because we're around, we're in the streets. We have calls all the time. Our next call is going to be tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We call them health opportunities. So it's an opportunity for you to speak with a regenerative practitioner and learn about your health and get a specific protocol that might help you, that will help you to reverse dis-ease in your body and restore your health and come back to life. So thank you guys. I'm going to unmute everybody and then we can all say I like when everybody unmutes and says something at the same time. It's kind of corny, but it's also cool. I like it. So maybe we'll all say thanks guys at the same time. Does that feel? Okay. So you guys unmute yourselves. Lori, unmute yourself. Okay. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Thanks guys. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thanks
Thanks, guys. You're so goofy.
Bye.